Got some news from Indonesia this week. You heard?
I heard things. I received messages.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it. I haven't fully invested myself in it. Let's make it official. What happened?
Earlier this week, South Korean coach Shin Tae-yong of Indonesia was fired.
Fired? Oh, wow. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
And in his replacement, they get Kluivert, a Dutch legend who was very good at Ajax, and had a career at Barcelona as well during his prime. Yeah. Great player. Hasn't had a lot of good coaching opportunities, but he is now the head coach of the Indonesia national football team.
I think it represents kind of a shift that Indonesia is trying to make. They're like trying to become Netherlands 2.0, man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But in my honest thoughts, terrible move. Terrible. Shin Tae-yong gave everything to Indonesia football team. Everything. Not only that, he really understood the tactical identity of every single player. He's been with his team for years. He's seen out the best Indonesian record that we've ever seen. They are in prime position to qualify for the World Cup. And yet They sacked him.
Yeah,
he's gone. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's a really bad move. In international football, when you have a coach being very successful, but the federation fires him for very strange reasons that are, in my opinion, non-footballing, it never works out. We saw this in 2018 with Saudi Arabia. Bert van Marwijk saw Saudi Arabia to be the best team in Asia. They sack him due to disagreements right before the World Cup, and Saudi Arabia forget how to play football in the World Cup, bro. and this is what I'm really afraid for Indonesia, because at the end of the day, yes, they weren't getting maybe the best results, but they're right there.
I thought they were getting great results.
They were getting great results. Everything taken into account, everything considered, knowing that this is the first time they've ever gone this deep in World Cup qualification, knowing that they have the youngest squad out of all 18 teams still left in World Cup qualification. What Shin Tae-yong did with Indonesia was amazing. It hadn't been done before in the country. For them to sack him due to basically just wanting a cultural shift, I just think it's the wrong move.
No, I'd have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. And I think most Indonesians would agree as well, because this was surprising to just see that piece of news given everything that's happened, the build up to this moment. I think Indonesia has been great. Of course, they're not automatic qualifying right now for the World Cup, but the fact that they're even in contention and they have that shot, given the age of their team, is truly incredible. I just wonder how the players are going to take to it, because it really did feel to me like Shin Tae-yong was very like a good leader. He was aware of just how young this team was and how to be impressionable with them, teach them a good foundation of football at the international level that we were seeing, slowly play itself out every single time. Because what I like about this Indonesia team is that every game that you see them play, you can see them slightly improve upon themselves every single time. And now with a new coach involved, who I don't think has the same sort of relationship with the players, I wonder what kind of impact will that have. And what worries me is the timing of it, because there's a risk involved here, and if it ends up going wrong for Indonesia, it could result in them missing out in the World Cup, man. I just don't understand, if you're Indonesia's federation, why you wouldn't wait till after and then fire Shin Tae-yong instead of doing it right now, smack dab in the middle of AFC qualification. That's my biggest thing. And so for Shin Tae-yong, I hope he's somewhere happy right now.
Yeah.
I hope he's relaxing and realizing that he did something special with Indonesia. But at the same time, I would definitely understand if he's a little worried about what might be the future for Indonesia and these players.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating for those exact reasons, man. I mean, we've seen Indonesia evolve right in front of our eyes over a very short period of time. Their appearance at the AFC Asian Cup was exhilarating, though we could see serious flaws in Indonesia's game. But as they've taken that core of players with Shin Tae-yong into World Cup qualification, we've seen them improve every single game, as you said, specifically defensively. No longer do they have massive holes in their defense, but they still pose threat offensively. That was all under Shin Tae-yong, that evolution. So I just think this is one of the worst decisions in all of World Football Federation-wise. To end on a good note, the only good thing I can say about Kluivert is what we said at the beginning. He is Dutch, and, right now Indonesia is recruiting a lot of Dutch talent at the end of the day. So maybe, just maybe, Kluivert can tap into a relationship that Shin Tae-yong could not. Obviously, they'll be able to speak the same language. Maybe they'll be able to have a lot more conversation with the players, and maybe there'll be a lot more adaptation during the game due to no longer having a language barrier. Kluivert obviously knows how to play really good football, and maybe he can bring that mind to this really young and adaptable Indonesian team. So it's not the worst thing, but I just think at the end of the day, this is the wrong decision.
It worries me. That's for sure. I still hold out hope for the players specifically. They have a lot of good talent that is just getting better. I mean, they're just so young that every game you can see that improvement. I just hope that the players can take the positives from this and seek to form out a relationship with Kluivert that in hopes would help out benefiting the rest of the team. That's what I'm going to be looking at, is the player performances under Kluivert, especially defensively. Does it get worse with him, or does it get better or stay the same? I'm curious to see, but I think the hope is still there. The opportunity definitely is still there to qualify for the World Cup. I just think, if they end up not doing it, I'm going to look back at this moment as a big catalyst, and, always will be left wondering what would have happened if Shin Tae-yong was ahead of this team.